There you are.
Okay.
All right, we're back. Oh,
How do I get
you're gonna have to
that?
zoom out.
Goodness.
Oh, wait. Oh, let me
You
get
guys will
closer
have
to
to
you.
you'll have to get a lot closer together or zoom out, move the computer back because I got it where we're splitting the screen.
Oh my,
Or just bring some.
we're really good.
Just going down.
Well, for those that are waiting, they're getting this set up, and welcome to the Freeborn Podcast. I'm here with
No problem.
Rachel
Yeah.
Carpenter and her dad Brett Carpenter. Okay, squeeze in tighter, or she's squeeze in tighter. You're gonna have to get real snug, real comfortable there. There you go. All
I'm
right.
there. Good girl.
I'll try to adjust this here in just a second, but give me 1 second. We'll do that.
Yes, there. Yeah. Wait, let's see what that does. Oops. I don't know what that did.
What if I? Oops. Can I make it louder?
I don't.
You turned the video off.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna give us
Oh,
a
okay.
second here.
No. There.
Is there no
You don't
way
just
to
have
do
a.
it?
You. That's yours and not mine. I don't know.
I mean, I know I can do it on my phone. I'm not gonna do it here.
No, just go. You just don't have a button on the side.
That's the loudest.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go back. That's fine.
You gotta turn the video on.
Yeah. Go ahead. Just
I'm
go.
going.
Good. Okay.
All
We don't
right.
feel comfortable sitting this close together.
Well, should get a better camera then. All right. Well, welcome to the Freeborn Podcast again. Rachel Carpenter and Brett Carpenter. So, um, we I the story is that you just graduated from high school, right?
Yeah.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
And you were the let's turn the computer more to her right now, and we'll turn it back to you because she's like half cut off. There we go. That's better. Turn it a little more. Let's cut Brett off for a moment.
He's part of the cancel culture.
There we go. That way people can get a good look at you. All right. So you just graduated from high school, and you were the class treasurer. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And then you had a speech. You were going to give a speech as a treasurer, and then the school. So how did that happen? So the school basically said that you couldn't give your speech. Was that? Did you know this like before the day of the speech, or how did this all happen there?
Okay, so back in March is when all the class treasurers got together, and we were told that we were gonna give a speech at graduation. So the teacher in charge of this, she gave us the speeches of the class before us, just to get an idea of what we were going to do. So then we each wrote our speeches. She kind of contacted us every now and then, being like, "How you're going with your speech," stuff like that. And so I had my speech ready. Then 3 days before the school ended, she reached out to all of us again, and she called us back and she was like, I'm sorry, guys. I mixed up the topics. I was supposed to give you each a different topic, apparently, than the one she had given us. But only me and one other student ended up having to change ours. So then that same day that she told us that, I sat with her during one class period, and she kind of rewrote. We just wrote a completely different speech.
And so what was it about the topic that you had that she didn't like? Because your topic you chose was, or did you choose your topic that you gave, or did she,
No.
the original
In
topic they
March,
gave you?
she gave us the topics of the previous class.
Uh-huh.
So mine was overcoming challenges. So that's what
Right.
I wrote. And then, like I said, 3 days before the school ended, she told us, hey, these are the wrong topics.
Okay.
So because apparently they had like a bulletin that they were going to give before graduation to everyone. And that's where she wrote the wrong thing. Instead of Rachel's speech, overcoming challenges, she had Rachel addressing the senior class.
And
So it was just a different topic.
right. And then, but I don't understand. So the new topic was addressing the senior class. That's the topic?
Right. Yeah.
How's that a topic?
I don't know.
I mean, I do a little bit of public speaking, and I have a hard time thinking of that as a topic. And so yeah, go get closer together, and then I've got the camera
Okay.
where you both can get in now. If you'll move over a little bit, Rachel, there you go,
I
perfect.
just want to explain what happened because this is kind of my fault. Rachel came home and said, my new topic is addressing the seniors. And I said, well, good. Address the seniors and give your speech. You know, I just thought, to me, it was just didn't make any sense. I said, address them when you stand up. I said, just tell your class, hello, class, I'm addressing you, and give your speech, because no one on earth is going to know the difference between addressing the class
And
giving
addressing the
a
class.
challenge. I was just like, and so I told her, so she was like, so that's okay? I go, yeah, who cares? I mean, what's the big deal? I said, no one in the world would know. So I'm the one who told her, I said, no, just, go along with the teacher. Yeah, I'll address the class. And I said, and give your speech. I said, this is ridiculous. The problem was that we didn't know. I didn't know how much the teacher disliked her speech.
Yeah.
Okay, now
I didn't know that.
Now, when I first heard that your speech had been well, we'll get into it in a second. But when I first heard that all this had happened, well, and knowing you, Brett, I figured, well, this is probably has some political points in it, or it has some issues about the election being stolen, or about good man orange, or something, or maybe there's religious elements to it or whatever. I figured, well, there must have been something like that. So when you sent me the speech and I'm reading it, I'm wondering if the teachers just don't like being adulated, because basically the whole speech, every paragraph ended, the theme was, I learned this from this teacher. And so it was like every paragraph was adulating one of the teachers. And I'm thinking, well, maybe this is just like the most humble and modest school on the face of the earth, and none of the teachers want any credit. Maybe that's what they objected to. I don't understand when I read the speech what the problem is here. Now, there is one line that I could see that might be problematic, maybe, where you say that it's easier to come to the States illegally than legally, right? I could see that. They look at that and go, hey, we want you to extricate that from the speech. We don't want you saying that, or whatever.
Right.
And that's a separate, we can talk about that. Right.
That was her idea.
We could talk about that, whether that's, but other than that, I mean, that's the one line, the only thing. So what is it about the speech they didn't like?
The humor.
Yeah, I think it was that, because
What humor?
When I was writing it, she was able to like make comments on it, and she was like, I think you're trying to be funny, but you're not like unifying a theme.
Okay,
And
grief.
she said something like that, and I was like, well, yeah, I want it to be interesting. So she told me, let's get together and change it, and I never reached back to her because I didn't care. I thought it was funny, so I liked it, so I didn't reach back to her to fix it, I guess.
Wow. And so then tell us a little bit of how that happened. So you get there to the class, and and hold on, let me make sure that. Give me 1 second. So you get there to the graduation ceremony, and then they take you into the office or something. Is that what happened, or how did that go? How did that happen?
Well, I dropped her off to school at 1 o'clock. The ceremony was going to be at 2 o'clock, but she had print up these banners that said "applaud."
Laugh.
No, laugh. Okay.
Well, she was told that it wasn't funny enough, so she had to give some cue cards,
well,
right?
Well, the idea was, this was actually my brother's idea. He said that he gave a speech to his high school class, and he said it just, really broke the ice. He said something humorous, and then his students would hold up this banner that said "laugh," and so everyone would know when to laugh. And so I said, "Oh, dude, that'll be funny." Well, so I dropped her off with like 6 banners. She has all her friends going to go along with it. They're all going to hold up these signs and just have a good time. But she called me like 15 minutes after I dropped her off, and she was crying.
Yeah.
She's a sensitive person.
So tell
And she
me,
was like,
Rachel, then what happened then at that point?
Well, she just told me, they took away my banners and they told me I can't give my speech. What?
Yeah.
But Rachel, you tell me what happened.
Okay.
So I went in, like, I had contacted my friends. So I was like, hey, are you willing to raise this banner? And some of them were like iffy about it. They were like, I'm not sure. Because, I mean, some of them did think, like, they needed to be approved, I guess. They were like, did you ask the school board? Like, did you ask the teachers? I was like, no, like, it just says laugh. Like, I didn't think it was a big deal. So I talked to friends that I knew would be willing to do it because, there's some kids that just don't care. So I talked to them and they were like, oh, yeah, sure, whatever. So I gave them the banners and a copy of my speech saying exactly like when to raise them. And then we're in the auditorium, taking pictures, everybody's having fun. And, they're messing with the banners. And that's when the principal and my counselor are there and they see them and they start taking them away. Well, I hadn't realized they were taking them away. My friend texted me and she's like, hey, they took my sign away. I was like, who took your sign? Like, I thought a friend maybe took it or something to her do it instead of her. And I was like, I just didn't know. And then the kid behind me told me, hey, Rachel, they took my sign too. And I was just confused. So then I realized it was the principal because I saw her walking around saying, who else has a sign? Who else has a sign? And so then I knew they were going to come talk to me. So she sees me and she was like, Rachel, can I speak with you? I was like, sure. So then we just walked outside into a hallway outside the auditorium. And she's like, she read my copy of the speech. She was like, this isn't the speech that we have at the podium. And I was like, yeah, I know. She's like, well, you can't give this. I was like, why not? She's like, no, because we didn't approve this speech. So you either have to give the one that's in the podium or we're going to get somebody else to read it. And I was like, fine, you can find somebody else to read it. Because I was like, I'm either giving my speech or nothing. And she was like, okay, fine. So she left. And then that's when I started crying and I called him.
But you weren't crying when you were talking to her? But you didn't cry when you spoke to her? You kept your composure?
Yeah, I tried.
Good job.
I thought he was talking to me. I thought he was asking if I did.
No, I know you were crying, Brett. And so then what happened after that?
Oh, it turned really bad.
No, who turned it bad? You, Brett, or what? How did it turn bad?
The principal.
You were mad though.
Yeah, I was mad. I told the vice principal, I said, hey, they took my daughter's banners away from her. They told her she can't read her speech. I said, I need to speak to the principal. Well, I told him first. I said, you have to let her give her speech. He goes, I'm not the one to talk to. I don't have anything to do with this. And I said, well, I need to talk to the principal. So they take me to the principal, but they didn't just take me to the principal. They took me to the principal and the superintendent and the vice principal and the teacher and 2 police officers.
What are the police officers? You mean is this school police or is this actual police?
No, they're actual police, but
like law enforcement officials from the city.
The city police. The school has it set up where a police officer actually has his office in the front office, and he's mainly there, because this town has a drug problem, so they like to have a police presence in the schools. But
apparently they have a speech problem too.
Wait, say that?
Apparently they have a speeches problem too.
Yeah. Well, they had another police officer there. Now, when I started saying, hey, there's nothing objectionable about her speech, I said, there's nothing offensive, there's no swear words or anything like that. And the superintendent would say, yeah, but she was back there. She was very soft spoken. It was hard to hear. She was like, there might be something in there that we don't know about. I said, no, I told her, I said, the teacher's already read this. She's had this for weeks. She knows exactly what's in there. And she kept trying to take Rachel off by herself. Rachel, you need to come over here with me. We need to settle this between you and me. And I told her, no, no, no. I said, she's staying here. I want this all public. I said, we don't have anything to hide here, do we? And she says, no, I need to talk to Rachel. And I looked at Rachel and I said, okay, but I said, don't accept anything less than you giving your speech. And she looked at me and said, you just need to be quiet. I would hate to have to ask you to leave. And I'm like, what?
And so what are the police doing during all of this?
Well, they're watching until, the teacher, they're going back and forth asking her, is there anything wrong with the speech? And the teacher finally,
So the police are adjudicating the quality or the content of the speech?
No, they were just standing
They
by.
were standing there until I'm arguing with the teacher, and I just told her, I said, this speech that you're giving her to read I said, I read it. I said, it's a terrible speech. I don't like it. She didn't write it. I said, I said, you have a really bad speech and a good speech that she wrote. Let her give her speech. Well, the police said, hey, you're interrupting her. You need to let her talk. And I said, you're interrupting. I said, you're not even part of this conversation. I said, she has never objected to anything I've said. And then the other police officer says, well, I'm objecting, and you're going to do things the way we say, or we're going to take you out of here.
So the police are adjudicating. They're getting involved in this.
Yeah.
Do they not?
Well,
oh my goodness. This is crazy.
Well, so then the teacher actually kind of came around to our side and said,
it's up to them. Like after
she said, I don't see anything wrong with the speech. Rachel was very nice the whole time.
So did you go back and speak to the superintendent by yourself, Rachel?
No, we were all there together.
So you never went and spoke to her alone like she wanted?
No, I didn't know she was going to be there.
No, I mean, like right now when he was saying that she wanted to speak to you by yourself.
No, I mean, we took like one step away, and I was like, no, everybody can listen to this. Like, it's fine.
So
my dad wanted me there.
So what was her point? Was her point that she had not approved the speech? Was this her problem?
Yeah, she told me we can't approve this 10 minutes before going on stage. And I mean,
our point was here's the thing, that speech was approved. The teacher accepted it. She was given this like 2 months ago, this speech. Right. And that was the speech. The teacher has read it. Rachel was tweaking it, putting commas in and things. It was like 3 days before school ends. She says, I messed up. And that was the speech that was approved.
Right, because we were supposed to meet to practice the speech like in front of her and like her assistant. So we were going to practice the speech with her, but we didn't have time to do that. So I mean, to me, that meant that it was approved, like, because she didn't say anything like, no, we can't give the speech. I mean, I knew she didn't like it, but I didn't think she would like try to change it.
And so what you say, the teacher was kind of coming around then more to your side then. So then what happened then?
Yeah, because she looked and she said, yeah, there's nothing objectionable in here. There's nothing. And she even said, and they asked her, well, does it overlap with another student's speech? She says, no, there's no overlap. She said,
because I asked her, so why can't I give this? And she was like, well, that's up to them. Speaking about the principal and superintendent. So, I mean, I thought and then when principal and superintendent said, no, you can't give this. And I asked the teacher again, I was like, then why can't I give this? And she was like, I'm going to say no, obviously, because they had said no.
Yeah. She switched back because the superintendent said, it looks like you're trying to go against the advice of your teacher. And then the teacher switched back. Yeah, no. you can't give it. And that's when they all said no, no, and that's when we left.
Right.
And so then you just left? You just walked away from it, or did they
Yeah,
tell
we,
you to leave?
yes, she said, well, then I'm not. They told her you can either read this one or none, and Rachel says, well, then I'm not giving any speech.
Right.
We just walked away.
Okay.
And then this is where the things kind of turned. I told Rachel, I went over to the bathroom. She said, I have to go to the bathroom. I guess women go to the bathroom when they're upset. So we go over there. And when she comes out, I said, Rachel, accept to give the speech. Just say you're going to do it, and then just give your speech.
And so how did that go then, Rachel? Because they took away your hard copy, right? They
So this
confiscated
was
the objectionable
after.
material.
So we were lining up because we were in the auditorium, so we were going to walk into the gym together. So, I mean, I was like at the front of the line. So I saw them kind of coming out of the auditorium. So I just ran up there and got in the line. And then, so the principal is like leading us. So she's like, there's like one student in front of me and then there's her. So I just like ran up to her and I was like, hey, can I still read mine? And she saw my copy of my speech. She was like, fine, but give me that. And I was like, are you sure? Like just making sure she wouldn't let me give my speech. And she was like, yes, I'm sure. So then I handed her my copy, and then that's when we walked into the auditorium.
And then what happened?
So then there was my friend had to give the introduction. Then there was like the Pledge of Allegiance, and then the principal gave a speech, and then she nodded to me to come on to the stage. So I wasn't paying attention to like all the other speeches because I was kind of reciting it in my head because I didn't have mine. So then I went up the stage because she said, come in. And like right before I gave my speech, she like opened it up to like the page that I was supposed to read. She was like, it's right here. And I was like, yeah. So then like she went to sit down. So I pulled out my phone to try to find it. But, everybody's waiting for me. So I just started speaking, kind of like trying to find my speech as they speak. So as I was speaking. So yeah, it went well, I think.
Oh, yeah. I thought it went real well.
And so how close
she didn't even
was
look
the
nervous.
speech you gave from memory to the one that you had written?
Right.
How close was it?
It was pretty close.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I might have switched.
Now, I don't understand why the police officers didn't then tackle you on stage when they realized.
I was kind of thinking that was going to happen. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they should have called in. I'm
I'm
surprised they didn't call in SWAT to get them involved.
They probably did, but they didn't. They got lost on the way. They said,
What was the response from the faculty? Did you note? Did you look at their faces when you were giving your own speech?
No, because they were sitting behind me, so I didn't look at them.
Yeah.
When you do something like that, for future reference, you always want to turn around and give them a good long stare.
No. Afterwards, I was just trying to avoid eye contact with them the whole time. Because like they were just sitting right in front of me, so I was just looking everywhere else but them. I was like,
And so what was the response afterwards from the faculty and administration?
So the only other time I spoke to them was when I went up to get my diploma. So I was in line, so I didn't want to look at them because I didn't think she was going to talk to me. But she handed my diploma, and then she was like, congratulations. So, I mean, she had to. She told everyone that. So I was like, just thank you, and then I walked away. And then the assistant principal, as I was walking back, he saw me. He was like, great speech. So I don't know if he was aware of the situation or not, because I was like, thank you.
You should have done you should have done a Nancy Pelosi and ripped their speech. Rip
I
it.
thought of it. Yeah.
Of course.
And so, after all of that happens, what happened at the end of the day? Was that the end of that as far as the day? Was that nothing else was discussed then?
Again. Yeah.
Yeah. We went home, celebrated.
Yeah.
And then, you contacted the chief of police, Brett, because of the police officers getting involved?
Yeah, I had no idea why they were there. And then they're threatening to take me out. So I called the chief of police and I told him about his two officers and how I thought they were out of line and what they're doing there, trying to intimidate me. And he says, our officers never intimidate, they don't intimidate. I said, well, they threatened to take me out. I said, that's pretty intimidating. And I, because you know me, because I told him, I said, it looked to me that your officers were acting as hired thugs. I said, that superintendent calls them over. She tells me she's going to take me out. And then they just follow suit saying, yeah, we're taking you out. And he just says, I'm on the phone with him. He says, I was the officer there talking to you.
You didn't know that was the chief of police when you were there?
No. No.
So not only they have actual police officers involved in adjudicating high school speeches, but they get the chief of police to do it. That's some town you live in.
Well, the one big laugh Rachel got in her speech,
Oh yeah.
which I thought is funny. She says, I moved to Kendalltucky. I mean Kendallville. That's the nickname of our kind of town is Kendalltucky. But anyhow, so we argued back and forth, and I told him, I said, wow, this has to go above you then. And he says, oh, you want to speak with the mayor? Yeah, I sure do. And he said, well, I'll set up an appointment with the mayor. I said, okay. So the next day, we had a meeting with the mayor.
Oh, really? So how did that go?
I don't know. How'd that go? Rachel was there.
Oh, you were there, Rachel?
Right.
And so
He
what?
spoke most
So
of
what
the
happened
time.
there with the mayor?
I thought they were very calm about it. Like I thought they were going to be mad at my dad for, bringing all of this up, but no, they were just listening to him, saying like all.
Was your dad calm, or was
Yeah,
he?
this time he was.
You were? Okay, good.
Yeah, he was fine.
And
And
so
then they actually wanted to argue Supreme Court
Oh yeah.
precedent. I mean, is this ridiculous?
did you
but-
point out that the absurdity of police officers becoming involved in this type of a dispute at all?
Yes, I went over and over with them this, but the mayor tried to explain, well, because of all the problems in the high schools, we do have a police presence in the school.
Right,
Yes,
but the problem
I
isn't
know.
speeches, is it?
No,
It's like murder
You-
and
you need that- yeah.
overdosing. Isn't that what they ought to be concerned about?
yeah, that's the problem. It's not speeches. I know. The mayor is Republican. She says freedom of speech is very important to her. The police officer, it's funny that I know a guy who's next door neighbor to the chief of police, and he says, oh, he's a really good Christian man. And I said, he probably is, but he goes out of his way to side with, censorship, which seems crazy to me. But I get it on one level. I know you have the superintendent. I mean, if I came across a police officer fighting with some guy in the street, I'm just going to instinctively side with the police officer. I kind of understand how, it's me and the superintendent. Whose side does he want to be on? But you would think that he would be a little more professional about it, a little more impartial. He'd probably just stay out of it unless someone's threatening somebody.
Exactly. I can see the police being there in the room just in case, you turn out to be this wacko dad who's going to start throwing punches or being abusive in some way, and then they'll step in and say, "Hey, you can't act this way here." But getting involved in whether or not a high schooler is given one speech or another speech, I don't understand how a chief of police can even want to be involved in that.
I can't explain that. And I was surprised because Officer Dixon, who is the police in the school, I see him every day. I saw him every day. I talk to him all the time. He actually trained under, because I talked to him, I said, oh, do you know Ron Glassley? He was chief of police in Columbia City. He goes, yeah, I trained under him in Columbia City. It's like we're all a big family here. The principal, I used to babysit for her brother-in-law. I mean, her husband's from Columbia City. It's like everybody knows everybody. It's like I know these people. It's like, and I don't know why they were so against her giving her speech. It didn't make any sense. It's like,
and what is
to
this?
me,
One of the
it seemed
craziest
to me-
things, one of the craziest things about all of this, in my opinion, is it just seems such nonsense that these high schools are so concerned about what people are going to say. I mean, This isn't the Gettysburg Address. No offense, Rachel, but I don't
Wow, he
I don't
just
think this is going down
No,
in the
it's
annals
true.
I know.
in the annals of history that that somehow this is going to be this transformative speech that's going to change the course of human history. I mean, we're talking about high school graduations. I don't understand why the teachers are hardly getting involved at all. Basically, they should scan the speech and make sure there's no like Nazi references, there's no like go commit suicide references. Other than that, what do they care about the style or content of these speeches? I don't understand it. If they haven't taught you how to prepare and give a speech in the 12 years that they have had dominion over your life, I think it's a little late at the last 3 weeks of your school life to try to tell you how to prepare a speech. They should have done that a long time ago, it seems like to me.
Right. And at the end of the day, she gave her speech. It's not like
Now, what was what was the response, Rachel, from the students and from your friends about that? Were any of them aware of what was going on?
Some of them knew. I mean, the majority didn't, but some of them they came up to me like because some of them saw me crying, so they were like, "Hey, so was that your speech or like did you give theirs?" I was like, "No, that was mine." They were like, "Oh, I really liked yours." They were like, so I mean, all of them. I mean, even people that I didn't even know started reaching out to me, telling me your speech was worth going to graduation. Like, because I mean, it was pretty boring. So
Well,
I think that's what I was trying
I
to
read
do.
the
So
speech that they prescribed, and if that was indicative of all the others, then yeah, that would be pretty boring.
yeah.
Some people are asking me if they're going to get to hear your speech, and I am going to post it, if it's
Okay.
okay with you, and put a link in the video so people can read all the objectionable content that's in there, all the white supremacy that you're spouting, all the horrible political incorrectness and all the hatred in there. Is that okay with you if I put all that out there?
Yeah, just
I mean,
put a
it'll
warning sign.
yeah,
Yeah, same with
I'll
me.
put a trigger warning. Definitely
Yeah,
put trigger
exactly.
warning on the speech. Um, do you need to go see if the police officers will allow me to do that? Give me their number. I want to call the chief of police and let him know that I plan on posting this, and he might want to get involved in that decision also.
we are operating out of a secret facility. I have my own private VPN. No one knows that we're here.
So what was the conclusion then with the mayor? How did that end up? Basically, thank you for your participation
Right.
and ushered you out, or did
Yeah,
they
just, I mean,
actually?
she was really nice and was talking to Rachel. Where are you from? Oh, good.
Yeah.
It was, you know, I just told her I thought I had to make her aware of the actions of the police, and he was always great. No, this is your right. You have a right to come here. He was like being very amiable,
Yeah.
like, no, you're good. We're good. You know, it is. I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore. I mean, a high school speech, really?
Yeah.
Gonna give her a hard time? Just had a fun speech to give.
Just
Which
3 minutes long.
I know.
It wasn't a big deal.
It was as long as the Gettysburg Address.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Well, there you go. You're halfway there then. No, I'm telling you, I read the speech and I thought, this is obviously written by Rachel. This is very personal. It's age appropriate. It's not political. It's not even remotely religious. There's one reference in humor of coming to the States would be easier to come illegally than legally, but it's being written by someone who is a natural born Mexican. And so it's like, it's not even
There was-
culturally appropriate, cultural appropriation.
There was another line in that speech that I thought, I almost had
What
to
line?
cancel it out.
Which line?
As her father, I thought, you are telling the class, or you're exposing the teacher for teaching you how to get away with murder.
Oh, I thought that, yeah, but I thought that was funny. Nobody actually, well, I say nobody. I would think that nobody would take such things seriously.
Right.
You had a shout out to Jolly Ranchers and T-Rexes, and I mean, anybody, the superintendent could have in my opinion, could have said, ask the teacher, are you aware of the speech? Yes. Did you approve it at one time? Yes. Here, let me look at it. She could have read it in about 2 minutes and said, great, do whatever you
Well,
want.
there was a line that she did take out that the teacher had in her original speech. What she did was she shortened it.
Oh yeah.
She cut things out from original, and there was one very objectionable thing. She told in there, what the teacher thought she was going to say is she learned in one class how to give the high five in Arabic.
Oh yeah.
And
What
so,
is
you
that?
know,
Let's put out.
she took that out because we thought that might cross the line.
Yeah.
And
And
she
why?
did
Why?
leave
What does
in-
that mean? I don't even know what that means. What's the high five in Arabic?
I don't know. Ask her.
Rachel? Tell me what the high
it.
five is in
Do the
Arabic.
high
You
five.
say hamsha, and then you put your hand up, and yeah, high five.
And why would that
But
be
it means
objectionable?
five. What?
Why would that be objectionable?
Oh, because then I think I said something like, unless I think,
Oh yeah.
what was it?
Unless of course she says, unless of course you're
Oh yeah,
Sure.
unless you're Arabic,
and you
cause
already
and you're
wear.
afraid of COVID because you're wearing a mask, something like
I
that.
don't know, somebody said.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, I
you're
could
already
see,
wearing a
I could
COVID
see that
mask.
being a little problematic, maybe. But see, even with
Yeah.
those things, I don't, unless they're espousing or inciting violence, unless they're spewing actual, let's say racism or something extremely egregious, just political incorrectness for a high school speech. I just don't understand what all of this concern is for. I mean, is there an epidemic in this country of offensive high school speeches that I'm unaware of? That there's like all these high school speech givers out there that are disturbing the peace. Or get the police in here. Let's get everyone in. Let's police this. Let's lock this down. I don't get it. I don't get this. You know what? I heard a thing. I forget where I heard it, but I heard that in academia, everything's a big deal because the stakes are so small. It just seems like these are people that are taking themselves way too seriously. I would probably be I would probably be a really lousy high school principal because I would be like, my job is so unimportant that I would blow everything off. So I'm probably not the right person to critique this, but it just seems like this has been taken way out of proportion.
I mean, that was exactly our thought. I thought after they read it, they would be like, "Oh yeah, fine, go with it." Like, nobody's gonna remember this. Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it certainly is crazy. So then that was it. Then so you talked to the mayor. It's over, and there was no apology of the police as far as how they acted. They still think that they handled that just fine. You think you're gonna? Are you being extra careful at the stop signs and stopping
Yes.
at the exits
Yes,
of
we
all
are.
your?
He jaywalked into.
Oh, I jaywalked into the mayor's office. Showed her.
Boy,
But
you
I made
both
sure
are just
there
like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I'll just say that, Rachel.
I made sure there were no police around.
Oh,
They
that's
have it on
hilarious.
camera, though.
Yeah, I have it.
So then, now what's your plan going forward, Rachel? Where now that you've graduated high school, what are you up to?
So actually, at the mayor's office, she told us to bring it up at the school board meeting. So I think I want to do that. I just want to bring it to attention just to see if anybody else thinks that it's crazy, But I mean, even if I don't get an apology, I don't expect it to happen, but I just think people should know what they're doing because it's just like you said, it's just so stupid.
Oh, when I posted online, I've had so many shares, and I had yesterday one of the school teachers called me. He's from Columbia City, where I'm from. He didn't know that he knew me from the school, but I said, "Hey, I know you," and he said, "Well, I'm on your side." He said, "There's a lot of bullying going on by the principal and the superintendent." He said, "It's been going on for a long time, but I've had so many people, talk to me, tell me just how ruthless they are." And I'm like, wow, I don't know. What's wrong with this town?
It's not just
This
that
is
town. Actually, this is an epidemic, in my opinion, in the school system. I can't stand public schools. I can't hardly stand the teachers in them. I know there's some good teachers out there, in theory, but but no, I know there are some good teachers, and not everyone's involved in this. But the, and this is just my personal opinion. Nobody has to share this, and I know my family hate me for it because I have a family of school teachers, so they don't like that I express this.
Oh, well, they hate you for other reasons also.
No, this is the only reason. I'm sure of that. There's no other reason. But and it's because of this. They are way have over the public school system in general, not every school teacher, but the public school system in general, in my opinion, has way over apprised or overvaluated their importance in the life of people. And this is what happens, in my opinion, when you give the government unfettered control over people's life for 12 years. I just don't like the entire system. I think is backwards and wrong from the bottom up. And it breeds these little tyrants who have this little fiefdom, right? And they have this little control. So, they've been appointed, and they're the police of the speeches. And so, they're going over it all with this fine-tooth comb, and nothing's going to slip through their fingers. They're the master detectives of the speech world, and they're going to make sure that, everything follows the rules. Anytime you get involved with the government in the United States, it's like you're living in Mexico again. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, I think that was the only time that I've ever seen a police officer like in a negative way since Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
I always tell people, if you want to know what it's like to live in Mexico, go to the DMV. Go get your driver's license, and then you're right. You are in Mexico.
Yes.
But not just at the Mexico DMV. That's Mexico everywhere.
Oh.
No, I can say that because I live there, and I'm speaking to someone who was born there. So this is in no way racist or cultural appropriation. There's nothing wrong here. We can say that. All you white people can't say that, but I can say that because I grew up there. No, it's crazy how this all is. So now that you've graduated, what's your plans? Are you going to college? You're gonna get a job? You getting kicked out of the house next week? What's going on with you, Rachel?
So I did get a summer job, so that starts next week.
Can you tell me where? Where are you gonna be working?
At the Y, just
really?
taking care of kids. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Something simple.
As long as she does things the way I say she has to do them, I won't have to escort her out.
At least you know who to call now when there's a problem over whether or not the bed was made properly. You call the police. They apparently have lots of time for these type of activities. They got you'll get the chief of police in there right away to determine that. So you're going to be going to college, or what's your plan?
Right. I'm going to Grace College.
Uh-huh.
It's about an hour away, right?
What do you?
Hour it's Warsaw.
You going to commute, or are you going to move there?
What?
Are you going to commute, or are you going to move there?
Yeah.
You're going to commute?
Yeah. No, she's living on campus.
Oh, you're going to live on campus. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your plan? What are you thinking of studying?
I'm thinking history because I think I might want to be a paralegal. So.
Okay.
She wants to become a police officer.
No.
And work in the schools.
No. That was last year.
So she took criminal justice classes. And
okay. Yeah. And so how does history have to do with being a paralegal? How does that work out? I thought it's taking law for being a paralegal.
Right. I mean, they do have a pre-law, so maybe I'll do that instead. I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
But I just like history, so I thought it'll be easier.
You know what happens if you take history, you become a teacher.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that.
Well,
and then you know my opinion of teachers, so that tells you what I'm thinking right now.
She wants to have
I'm just
very
joking.
Powerful influence over
I'm gonna be the one good teacher, yeah.
Oh, you're gonna be that theoretical teacher. All right. Just don't let all that power come to your get to your head, Rachel. That you wield the red pen with humility. okay? With grace.
With grace.
Yes, with grace. Wield the red pen with grace. Yeah, that's what that happens. You give these teachers a red pen, and all of a sudden they're the lords of all creation. I'm making all the teachers in my audience very upset. I know. They're very angry at me, both of them.
Both of them.
I'm joking. Oh. So you're going to be giving any more speeches? I know. Was that the first speech you ever gave, Rachel?
Public.
Well,
I
that's
took
what a
debate
speech
class.
is. It doesn't count if it's not in public.
Oh, that was.
I mean,
Well, that's good.
yeah.
Did you like it? Did you like doing it?
Yeah, I think I just kind of, like, I just said it like I wasn't paying attention or something. I don't know.
You need
She
to look
didn't
for
look nervous.
You need to look for the opportunity to give another speech. You ought to sign up for a speech class in college. You really should.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool. You might, because if you were able to perform that way under pressure like that, then you probably have a knack for it. You should get into that. That might be something you'd be interested in. There's a market out there for speech writers and all of that.
Yeah.
You should look into that. This might be the police of your town might have inadvertently set you upon a new career course. You have to go back and thank them later.
Yeah.
Bake them cookies or something.
Sure.
Oh, that's amazing. That's a very interesting story. I appreciate you coming on and telling us about it. Let me know if there's any more developments. If you start getting like tickets and
Oh.
oh, that is so crazy. That is so interesting. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. And I wish you the best in your endeavor and going to college and working.
Thank you.
And I hope things work out for you guys.
All right.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you, Michael.
All right. Appreciate it. Take care. See you guys next time.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.